hurting people's feelings when people get sensitive. KD says the other day his name should be discussed in the greatest of all time. I think the greatest players are Michael Jordan.
Shaquille O'Neal went straight at Kevin Durant for laughing about Michael Jordan's era and his brief baseball chapter. And the way he did it landed hard. While many expected Shaq to respond, few anticipated such a forceful reaction. What began as a casual podcast moment quickly escalated into a full-blown generational clash, and Shaq made it clear he wasn't willing to let it slide. Back in December 2025, LeBron James and Kevin Durant sat down for an episode of LeBron's Mind the Game podcast, where the conversation drifted toward load management and how modern stars carefully manage their bodies throughout the season. They compared today's approach to earlier eras, when players routinely played through injuries without advanced recovery technology, charter flights, or massive support staffs. The discussion remained relaxed at first, but the tone shifted when Michael Jordan's career came up. LeBron and Durant laughed about aspects of the old-school NBA, including Jordan stepping away from basketball in the 1990s to pursue baseball. From their perspective, it was light commentary about how different the league once was. No malice, no direct shots, just conversation. At least that's how they saw it.
Give him a GOAT kind of status because I don't want to disrespect his talent because KD is, we've never seen that before, right? As a fan of basketball, to me, I've never seen a more skilled guy at that height. He could do everything that a guard can do. He shoots better than anybody ever, damn near except for Steph. And that part I think is GOAT status. But I'm saying, like, when y'all start doing championships and this, it gets weird.
Shaq didn't hear the podcast laughter the same way at all. Once the clips began circulating online, Shaquille O'Neal responded publicly, and his reaction was anything but casual. He felt the laughter crossed a line and sounded more like mockery than light conversation. To Shaq, it came across as two modern superstars brushing aside the sacrifices made by the players who built the league before them. He didn't hold back, saying that LeBron James and Kevin Durant never lived through that era and therefore don't truly understand it. Shaq reminded fans that players in the past flew commercial, endured brutal back-to-backs, and played without advanced recovery systems, sports science departments, or built-in rest nights. He also addressed Michael Jordan's decision to leave basketball for baseball, stressing the heavy emotional context behind it, including the devastating loss of Jordan's father, which deeply influenced his mindset at the time. Laughing about that period, in Shaq's view, showed a lack of awareness and respect. From there, Shaq expanded the conversation, defending the entire previous generation and calling out what he sees as entitlement among today's stars. He named legends like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, emphasizing that they laid the foundation modern players now benefit from and deserve appreciation, not jokes. Through interviews and online posts, Shaq doubled down, challenging the GOAT debate and arguing that the NBA of the 1980s and 1990s was a far more physical and unforgiving environment, where hard fouls were routine and many of today's stars might not survive mentally or physically. This wasn't just a disagreement. Shaq positioned himself as a defender of legacy, standing guard over Michael Jordan's name and the era that shaped the NBA's identity. Fans quickly split into opposing camps. Some fully backed Shaq, believing LeBron and KD crossed a line by laughing about a legend's career, especially a chapter tied to deep personal pain. Others pushed back, arguing that LeBron and Durant were simply discussing how the game has evolved, and that the laughter reflected contrast between eras, not disrespect. Social media erupted, with some praising Shaq for preserving history, and others accusing him of old-school bias. The basketball world is divided once again, with some seeing Shaq as protecting the soul of the game and others viewing him as resistant to change. What's clear is that this clash goes far beyond a podcast moment. It's about legacy, respect, and who gets to define basketball history moving forward. It also highlights a deeper tension within the sport: old school versus new school. The older generation believes certain aspects of the game should remain sacred and untouchable, while the newer generation believes the game belongs to those playing it now, not to history. And this wasn't even the first time Shaq and Kevin Durant clashed. Their tension has a long history, dating back years. One of the most explosive moments occurred
without hurting people's feelings when people get sensitive. KD says the other day his name should be discussed in the greatest of all time conversation. What has he not done? Agree or disagree?
See, you got to be specific. You can't just say greatest of.
No, the GOAT. Like they always talk about LeBron,
I think
Michael Jordan. I throw in Kobe. Some people don't. I threw in Steph Curry the other day. No, he's saying his name should be in that.
I think KD is the GOAT on this for 7 foot, 2 guard.
No. Is he one of the greatest of all time? Yes.
One of the greatest 7. There's no.
No.
Seen another KD.
Should he be in that conversation? What you think?
I think so. And I think so. Kevin Durant is a transcendent talent, bro. Like we've never
seen it before.
We've never seen anybody like KD. And I said this the other day on something else I was doing.
Kevin Durant watched his teammate get mocked week after week, and to him it stopped feeling like comedy and started looking like outright humiliation. Eventually, he snapped back publicly, calling Shaq childish and accusing him of using his media platform to clown a player who was simply trying to survive in the league. Durant didn't tiptoe around the issue. He took the fight straight to social media, directly calling out a Hall of Famer and accusing Shaq of chasing attention and crossing the line. The situation escalated even further when Durant questioned Shaq's basketball skill, arguing that Shaq relied more on size and power than refined technique. He pointed to Shaq's well-known free throw struggles and claimed Shaq never had to evolve his game the way modern players do. That comment landed like a bomb because Shaq is widely regarded as one of the most dominant centers in NBA history, with 4 championships and 3 straight Finals MVPs. Shaq took it personally and fired back hard, telling Durant to stay quiet until he won a championship ring, because in Shaq's eyes, rings equaled authority. Without one, Durant's opinion didn't count. Shaq doubled down by listing his titles and criticizing modern stars as soft and overly sensitive, reinforcing his long-standing belief that today's players can't handle pressure or criticism the way past generations did. The exchange went viral instantly and became so heated that Warriors head coach Steve Kerr was asked about it in press conferences. Kerr, a champion alongside Michael Jordan, defended his player and called Shaq's behavior unprofessional, saying public ridicule from a media figure crossed a line. Durant echoed that stance, making it clear he wasn't intimidated by Shaq's legacy or platform, and that if he had something to say, he would say it, regardless of who was on the other side. Shaq refused to back down, expanding his criticism beyond Durant and painting the entire modern era as weaker than the past. What began as trash talk evolved into a full-blown generational battle over toughness, respect, and who gets to define greatness in the NBA. The feud exposed a deeper divide within basketball itself. Shaq represented the old-school mindset where physical dominance, toughness, and championships defined greatness, while Durant embodied the modern game built on skill, versatility, and individual ability. 2 eras, 2 philosophies, and no middle ground. The tensions simmered through the season, and the irony was impossible to ignore. Just months after Shaq told Durant to win a championship before speaking, Durant did exactly that. In June 2017, the Golden State Warriors defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in the NBA Finals, and Durant emerged as Finals MVP, earning the very credential Shaq claimed he lacked. While that ring silenced some critics, it didn't end the tension between Shaq and Durant. Their dynamic had already been set. Clash, cool off, then clash again. The 2017 JaVale McGee drama established a pattern that never fully disappeared, with the feud resurfacing at random moments over the years. One such flare-up came in January 2023, when Shaq dismissed Lakers forward Rui Hachimura during a TNT broadcast, saying he didn't even know who he was, despite Hachimura coming off a strong performance following his trade.
Right after losing to them, then going to them. I think any other year in his career he'd go there, it's not looked at as that particular thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's such a sensitive subject with people in basketball and basketball debates, but Kevin Durant is absolutely one of the best players that we've seen of all.
So he's one of two of the most prolific, dominant scorers ever. And I think, like you said, to piggyback on what you said, because you lose to Golden State and then you go join them and win championship, I think that tarnishes it. Now, if he can win one where he's the bus driver, like Charles would say, I think we would definitely have to put him in that conversation. But right now, I don't really have enough. Yeah, but I think people were upset because, especially guys that we play this game. If we knew that was acceptable, probably a lot of us would have shut. If I knew that was acceptable, I would have just went to Chicago. If I knew that was...
When Durant was with the Brooklyn Nets, he didn't let Shaq's comments slide. He subtweeted the Hall of Famer, suggesting Shaq was out of touch with the modern NBA and pointing out how strange it was for a national analyst to casually dismiss a current rotation player. Shaq fired back quickly and aggressively, and the exchange spiraled into personal jabs, with Shaq mocking Durant's career decisions and perceived sensitivity. Durant responded by clowning Shaq's online behavior, joking about his age and how older players navigate the internet, and the argument became so chaotic that rapper J. Cole even got name-dropped along the way. The entire episode felt messy and unnecessary, and most fans agreed neither side gained anything from it. Instead, it simply reminded everyone that unresolved tension between Shaq and Durant could resurface at any moment. That wasn't the only flare-up around that time either. In June 2022, during Durant's public fallout with former teammate Draymond Green over podcast comments, Shaq jumped into the discussion again, siding with Green after he questioned Durant's role on the Warriors' championship teams. This fed directly into Shaq's favorite argument, the bus rider versus bus driver debate, where he repeatedly claimed Durant's titles were less